Hello, and welcome to episode 20 of Baking Bread.li. We've made a lot of videos. This one I'm going to get stuck straight into it, and we are going to get on with making what is essentially a custom post type for Jekyll. And obviously, Bread.li runs on Jekyll, and the purpose of Bread.li is to have a directory of CMSs, as we have here. We've got the page, but we need a physical directory. So we need a custom post type, as it would be called in WordPress terms. But really, it's another kind of post, but just not called post. The word is iterative. It's very difficult for me to say, but iterative items. We've got posts, we've got pages, and now we need to create something else that we can manage separately and use in our site. So here we go. Now, thankfully, there is a page on the Jekyll RB website for collections, and I've had a quick read through this, but I am still a little bit fresh to this. I'm interested to know what happens. We're going to need to put some example ones in there just to see if it works okay. But let's get a start on. I've already pulled down the master branch and made sure it's up to date. So that's okay. So what I'll do is I'll do open dot and open our main directory, and there's our config file, and this is where we're going to put the information for this collection. We're on a different tab. Maybe we should close this one. I press escape. No. There we go. Get that out of the way. I want to kind of keep the windows together, and then we can kind of compare and see where we're going wrong, maybe. Okay, so collections. It says step 1, tell Jekyll to read your collection. Okay, so let's put a new section down here called CMS's collection. Yeah, just CMS's collection. And we can list out the collections. Okay. I'm just seeing what else we can do with this. Okay, so let's put collection or collections, and we're not going to put my collection, what it says there. I'm going to put, now I could just put CMS, but I'm not going to put CMS because I'm worried that that's not a very explanatory name for it. And from my experience, putting identifiers as such kind of obscure names as that makes it very difficult to debug. And if you see CMS in there, you're like, what CMS? Is that the CMS of that or what? So if we give this an identifier like of the full word or the full term, content management systems, and I'm going to make sure I've typed that correctly because it looks like I've really messed that up. Okay, cool. Content management systems. Cool. And it looks like we can add in like more options as we kind of drill down into the YAML file. It says create a corresponding folder. So _ my collection. Maybe I shouldn't call it content management systems for that directory name. YAML front matter is read in as data if it exists. and everything after it is stuck to the document's content attribute. If no YAML front matter is provided, Jekyll will not generate the file in your collection. Okay, well that's the same kind of terms as a post, really. Note, the folder must be named identically to the collection defined in your config file, with the addition of a preceding underscore character. Well, we better call it CMSs because it's going to look awful in the root of the folder. So CMSs it is. That is going to prove difficult. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new folder in our site called CMSs, like that, and it zips to the top. So we've got our file. We'll probably have to make markdown files in there in a moment. Excuse me. So we've done those two things. Let's have a look in here. Step 3, optionally render your collection's documents into independent files. If you'd like Jekyll to create a public-facing rendered version of your document in your collection, a rendered version of each document in your collection, set the output key to true in your collection metadata. So I assume that means you can, so if you wanted to, you could have items that are in segregated files. So if you had a collection, say, of playing cards, should we say playing cards as an example? Sorry. So if you had playing cards and each playing card had a corresponding markdown file and your collection was called playing cards, then I guess if you wanted to display on the playing cards, you could just put the text in there and it would just show all the playing cards on one page. And you can't click through to them, they're just playing cards on the page. But we want it so the playing cards are shown on individual pages. So we want the output set to true. So I hope that makes sense. It's kind of the difference between showing a list and then showing like posts, using that post kind of functionality. So collections, my collection, and then we can do another colon, and then we do the output to true. Just need to clear my throat with this tea. It might help. It's quite interesting going through this as I read this out to you. I'm trying to explain as best as I can what I'm thinking and hopefully translating it well enough. So hopefully you guys and girls are understanding that just as well. Okay. So output true. This will produce a file for each document in the collection. For example, if you have underscore my collection, some subdirectory .md, it will be rendered using the liquid and the markdown converter of your choice and written out to my collection, some directory, some doc. As with posts with permalinks. As for posts with permalinks, document URL can be customized. That's a bit wording weirdly there. The document URL can be customized by setting a permalink metadata to the collection. Okay, fantastic. So we can play around with the permalink. So we can put permalink colon, and then we can do CMS. So we can do like a singular. So CMS colon path. Lovely. Okay, cool. So here's some variable options in this table. So collection, label containing the label of the containing collection. Path. Oh, I see. These are the variables for the permalink. Okay, so you could put colon collection, label of the containing collection. So I could change CMS to colon collection, and then it would just be CMSs. But then I want that to be the singular CMS, because then the URL kind of explains the item. It's a singular CMS, not CMSs. Path, and then name, the document's base file name, with every sequence of spaces and non-alphanumeric characters replaced by a hyphen. So we got title as well. Let's change that to title, like we've got up here in blog. So we're kind of following a similar convention. Okay, good. Hopefully this won't come out as like .html. Hopefully it snips it off and makes it just like a path. Each collection, so liquid attributes, collections. Each collection is accessible via the site liquid variable. For example, if you want to access the albums collection found in _albums, you will need to use site.albums. Okay, that makes sense. Each collection is itself an array of documents, e.g. site.albums is an array of documents, much like site.pages is, or site.posts is. See below for how to access the attributes of those documents. The collections are also available under site.collections with the metadata you specified in your config. So we can pull out some of the information to the page. Is that right? In addition to any, like I'm skipping. What I'm doing is I'm skipping on from this. I'm not sure what we're talking about here. Relative directory. I'm sure we could output these and see what they come out as on the page. Let's skip down to this documents section here. In addition to any YAML front matter provided in the documents corresponding file, each document has the following attributes. Okay, well, yeah, that's just like posts. So we've got content, we've got output, the rendered output of the document based on the content. Path, the full path of the document source file. Relative path, URL, the name of the document's collection. Cool. Okay, well, from just those options there, we seem to have established a collection of CMSs. So let's try one. Let's create one. So I'm going to create a new markdown file, and I'm going to put our triple hyphens in there, and I'm going to pick out the layout of is there a layout of post? Let's save this into our CMSs, and I'm gonna use one that you might have heard of. I'm going to put anchor CMS in there. So that's that in there. And what I'm going to briefly check, why is that dot? Oh, is that that's Bourbon caching there. Interesting. We are looking for posts because I want to see what's in the front matter because I cannot remember. So we'll look at episode 1, layout, post. So let's hijack the post one, which is what we're doing. And we can put a title in here of Anchor CMS. And we'll go, this is a document about Anchor CMS. It's pretty awesome. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to run our bundle Jekyll exec thing. So we want to do bundle exec Jekyll serve and then watch. And that will run our site. And then we'll be able to visit localhost 4000. But we're not going to be able to get to that page because we haven't actually looped out the iterative things on the CMS's page. So what we need to check for is we need to check for the URL by manually typing it in. So we want to put in CMS, and then I guess it's anchor-CMS, and then that. And there we go. So that URL works. So CMS is fantastic. That was golly, that was very easy to do. How long are we in? 16 minutes in. So that's a collection. So that's how you do it. It's very, very easy. I'm impressed by that. The next thing will be to do is to loop through them on the CMS's page and get them to loop out as titles and links. So I'm thinking of doing it the cheeky way, not the cheeky way really, but like to save time, we want to go back into our old pages directory, and then we'll open these two files, so blog and CMS's page. We'll close Anchor CMS for the moment. We'll leave our config file open. Let's close that search there. Oh no, we don't want blog.md. We want the template file. That's what we want. We want the template for it. So layouts, and we want post. And no, we don't want post, David. Sorry. We were in layouts, and we wanted blog because it's got our loop in here. I was getting confused then. So we're gonna change this, and we're gonna call this CMS's. So that's gonna be the page for it, the page template. And then we're gonna have to change this to for CMS in site CMS's. So we want to do, oh goodness me, we want to do site.cms.title because post is built in, it doesn't need the site prefix, but we do for this custom CMS. So site CMS excerpt. But do we want CMS's? We want CMS's because it's called CMS's. So we want the extra S on there. We don't have a time option in there. We don't have it like publish date. We could put one in there. And let's change our URL as well. Site CMS's URL. Site CMS's title and site CMS's excerpt. I'm going to take that out because we haven't got an excerpt sorted for it yet. I think in the blog we have, it just spits out all of the content. Let's leave it in. Let's see what it does. Maybe it'll think it'll be clever. So we've got that. Now we've got our MD file. Now we want to change this to CMSs. And then we go here and refresh. So it's using layout CMSs. See what this is doing in here. It's not doing anything. Okay. Interesting. We need to figure out why it's not looping through them. Are we not doing our thing correctly? It's called CMSs. For CMSs in site.cms's, maybe. And then just keep hitting the refresh. Not giving us any errors in here. Let's change this to default. See if that corresponds with this. Change it to post maybe. No, it's not called posts, is it? Yeah, it's called post. For item in site.cms. So we've got URL, we've got title. Maybe excerpt isn't working. Maybe we take that out and we change this to CMS. Maybe we need to change that to CMS and that to CMS because we're using CMS up here and we're looping through them, and this is the iterative loop. Possibly not. Let's change these all back to CMSs with the extra S. Oh, and make sure we're using the right template. Just keep refreshing. Oh dear. Well, it's regenerating it okay. It's just not kind of producing it. We've got CMSs in there, or a CMS. Permalink. CMSs. I hope there's not a conflict with that. Let's do example. Jekyll collection for loop. Like so. We've got an article from SitePoint here. That's a crazy image. Go away pop-up. For album in site.music. So he's got one called, his collection is called music. So he's got singular CMS for site in, and then we've got, he's not got the site prefix. So I guess because we've got it up here, we don't need to put site. Let's take that out. That would be pretty cool, because then it kind of mimics the post convention. No, it's not liking that. I hope it's nothing to do with this kind of being in the same URL structure. Let's change this to something else. I'm worried that, I think stuff like WordPress has trouble when you want to have the custom post type default page. There we are. And if you name it the same as the directory structure, it just doesn't like it. No. If we go into site and then we go into CMSs, oh well, that CMS is on a different page, so it shouldn't be a problem. Let's do the old hello test. Oops, CMSs. Okay, so it's using the right template. We know that. But we're just not. For thing, interesting how this is not like playing ball. Sorry, I'm slurping my tea. Maybe it's the singular S. We've done a combination of all sorts now. There we go. I'm sorry that took so long. So let's have a look at what I did wrong. So we've got for CMS in site.cms's. So we're picking CMS's as the custom collection, but we're calling it CMS as in the singular. Yeah. So that's the name of it. We could put anything there, but I'm guessing we'd have to put the same there and there. So when I wrote thing, we have to put thing and thing in there, and nothing changes, as you can see. If I can keep refreshing, it's not doing anything because that thing is that thing is that thing. So that's our iteration singular. It's like, 4 eggs in basket. So that's all our attributes to them. So I guess what we could do is then bring back our excerpt, place it into here, but call this CMS. Maybe not. Excerpt has not been stated as a option of it, so in that case it would just probably be cms.content. There we go. Yep. That was a little bit painful going through that, trying to get that to loop out for you. I'm sorry that took a little bit long, but we're still 28 minutes in and we are doing not so bad. I'm quite happy with that. What I will do next is I will obviously commit and push this stuff, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to start populating. I'm going to start putting a few CMSs in there so we can actually play with some content. I've noticed how difficult it is to work on a site like this where it's got no content for actually to sample content to manipulate. Excuse me. And because we have ultimate control over this site, the great thing is we don't have to put lorem ipsum in there or dummy text. So the client or whoever you're designing it for can see it with text in it before they've actually put the content in. So we can actually put the actual content that will go in there, or as near as it will be, and design for that, so the content will show up really well, and we can start thinking like, yes, these items need to look like this and present this content in just the right way for the user. So yeah, but anyway, that was pretty cool how we can put collections in there. To be honest, I was expecting it to be a lot more difficult. But thank goodness it wasn't, apart from the little loop thing, which I was probably my rustiness with Liquid. Anyway, I hope you found this video interesting, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks.